Greetings, YouTube. This is Dark Emissary 617, aka Ghost Roaster 617, and next up is my Skylanders Swap Force list, my top 10 most recommended characters off of this list. To start off with, I'm gonna go with the Magic Swap Force member, Hootloop. Hootloop here is a magic element Swap Force swapper and has the teleport ability in the game where you access teleport zones. And he's a very fun character. He can teleport, he can shoot magic out of his staff that shoots beams, and he also hypnotizes people with his hypno owl eyes. So generally I recommend you go with this staff path, the one that gives him this dream beam that does so much damage constantly, and the down here is the telekinesis path. That's generally the path I like most about him. As a Swap Force member, he has the ability to split apart, and you can swap him with other characters. Which is, next character I suggest is Fire Swap Force member Firecracken. Firecracken here is the fire swapper with the bounce ability, and he is really strong too. He has his club stick that shoots flames, and he can swing it around, and he can spit. He can turn into like a Chinese dragon that pushes enemies aside and hurts them, and can create firecrackers with his tail to make a big explosion. So I just simply suggest his firecracker path on the bottom and his club path at the top, basically, overall. And he's honestly he was kind of overhyped, and I honestly didn't find him that good to play with overall, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad character. No, I actually quite liked him. For my next suggestion, it's the Earth Swapper, Rubble Rouser. Rubble Rouser is part of the Earth element and has the dig symbol, so he has the dig ability to access dig zones. And he's a generally fun character as well. He actually is very strong. His hammer, he can dig underground and can even have his hammer stick into the ground and drill at enemies. And the paths I suggest with him is the hammer path and the minor foreman path at the bottom, because that way he summons more little minor minions, and he's a generally fun character. Some people say he doesn't look that great and is not the best character. Well, he's not the greatest, but he's still a fun character, I'd say. He's definitely not a bad character. My second suggestion is Night Shift, undead element of also a teleport symbol swapper, like Hootloop over there. This guy is a monster. He punches from a surprisingly far range from what I expected. He can teleport, so he's fast, and he bites with his vampire fangs that gives him some health back. But best of all, he has the ability to come back after being defeated and gets a second chance to fight baddies. But he gets two more chances if you go on his I don't know what it's called. It's been a while since I played it, but he has like this path at the bottom, the baddie coach it's called. You go on that path, he gets 2 extra lives and more health when he comes back for another round. When he's defeated, he comes back with most of his health, and he gets to keep fighting with them. So he basically has 3 lives, making him one of the longest lasting Skylanders within the game. And of course, my final swapper for this portion, I'm kind of doing like Trap Team, where I said 5 Trap Masters and 5 cores. Here it's 5 swappers and 5 cores. Is Tech Element Spyrise. He's part of the climb ability swappers, like Washbuckler, who's part of the starter pack, so that kind of generally is why people probably didn't get him, but I still say get him regardless, because he is so good. He shoots these like arrow beams out of his gauntlet here, He can go up into the air and shoot beams from above with his one soul gem in the bottom half, and he can even, like, he has so many attacks it's hard to keep up with. He also has, like, this lock-on attack that does so much damage if you keep it on the enemy long enough. And he's just such a fun character. The paths I went with was this one that he throws, like, this sticky bomb kind of thing that makes him enemies slow down. And the bottom path, I just went with, like, the tech laser path instead of the fire laser path or whatever it's called. So, yeah, he's generally really fun and a very strong character. So, for the cores now, these are the ones I suggest for the cores. My first suggestion is a surprising one, because I didn't really like him in Swap Force, but if you play with him in Trap Team, he's actually really good now, and that's Slobbertooth, an Earth Element core character who is normally not that great because he's very slow, but surprisingly in Trap Team he's much faster now and he's very strong. You go in his tail path. He's so powerful and I'm really impressed. He's like a green dinosaur turtle type guy. He doesn't even look like a good guy, but that's fine by me. I like bad guys, even though he's a hero. He just doesn't look like a good guy. Another character I definitely recommend is a Punk Shock here. Punk Shock is an electric eel, and I find her very she's quite a cute character, and she has a crossbow. She hits enemies with her tail, and she of course throws water balloons so she can damage them more with electricity. And I just picked a conductor constructor path that just makes her throw 3 water balloons and does more damage and whatnot, and I think she's a really good character. You can generally find her at 5 Below for $5, so I definitely recommend getting her if you can find her. Because she's very fun, and she was very hard to find because they stopped making Swap Force figures, obviously, and being released at the end stretch, there's not many figures of her made, so if you can get a hold of her, I definitely suggest you go get one. Next one is the Life Element Bumble Blast. Now this guy is just ridiculous. Like, he has all these bees he shoots out of his bazooka, they call it, and he just hits so hard with these bees. They keep attacking enemies constantly. He can spit honey from his mouth, and he can also spit out these giant bees, giant, like, beehive-like bombs that explode and damage enemies with some knockback, and does plenty of damage. I just go with the, of course, the honey path, making his honey do more damage and slows down enemies, and he's just such a fun character. And he was one of the first cores that was leaked out in Swap Force on a poster, so he's generally really good. Fun fact, during the time the game was coming out, I just randomly made up a name for him, which was Bumble Blaster, and his name is Bumble Blast, so I was very close to getting the name right, actually. Just off by 2 letters there. Second one is, of course, Grim Creeper. Now this guy is everything I love about this franchise, because I didn't think we'd ever get someone like this. He's an undead character, but he's not just any undead character. He's like a bluish-green spirit that is in this, like, executioner outfit. And he fights enemies with a scythe. And in case nobody knew, because I'm guessing a lot of people don't, scythes are my favorite weapons ever made. I don't know why. Maybe because I like grim, dark, creepy things, and, like, I just love the serrated edge. Like, it's curved and looks so menacing, and I just love that. And I like Grim Reapers, so it's only fair enough that I would like Grim Creeper. For him, I go on the Grim Scythe style path, because his scythe is generally the path worth most of all. He does critical damage if you go on that path more often, so he does more damage. And number 1, this is the character I've really wanted the most back in Swap Force, and that is Dunebug of the Magic Element. This character was so awesome, and I wanted him so badly. I pretty much, like, as a joke, you could even say, I pretty much went through, like, if you watch Lord of the Rings, kind of like a Gollum reference. Like, I was like, I had to get this, my precious, and he was just such an amazing character. He's a little disappointing, but not that bad a character, so, but he's still worthwhile, and he doesn't get much appreciation, sadly. I don't see why not, because he has such a beautiful paint job. It's like he has this bizarre paint wash effect, and the sparkly paint that is like bluish purple, but if you shine in the light properly, it comes out as like green. My camera doesn't do much justice on him, but you trust me, if you see one in person and you actually open him out of the box and play with him, he is just an amazing looking figure. For him, simply put, the Dune Mage path, because he gets to shoot sparkling damage out of his wings, and I like that. So you just fly around enemies and use his shooting lasers out of his staff, and he can throw little dune balls to like roll up enemies and trap them in them, and you can just shoot them while they're invulnerable. Vulnerable, I mean. And you can even throw them off cliffs if you want. So, yeah, he's a very good character, and that's my overall view on my top 10 recommended Swap Force characters. So, yeah, if you play the game or collect figures in general, I recommend these ones. And if you want to talk to me more about Skylanders and learn more about the characters or anything else about Skylanders, you can talk to me on darkspyro.net, the forums, and talk to Ghost Roaster 617, that is I. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. This is Dark Emissary 617, aka Ghost Roaster 617, signing out.